Hi, Rich Spezzano here from Digitally Fearless. I saw a tutorial by Ethan Becker and I thought it was an interesting thing that we can do in Affinity Photo. And I'm not going to get too complicated with it because it'll go on a very long time. I'm just going to do a very rough draft to show you what you can do by creating interesting backgrounds using Google Maps. So let's get started. So I'm going to open up Google Earth. And I'm going to type Chicago. And I'm looking at Chicago. I'm just picking any city. You could pick a street or a city, but I'm choosing to pick a city. So I'm just going to go in, and I'm not from Chicago, so I really don't know that much about where I'm going to. After you pick it, let's knock this out of the, let's knock this out of the way. Right down on the bottom right, you can go to 3D. And I'm on an iPad right now, but you can do this with a mouse. I'm using 2 fingers and stretching to get bigger, but you can roll, I believe, with the wheel on a mouse, and you can turn and move around like that. And you just try and find yourself a spot. If I use 2 fingers and slide up or down, I get angles on the iPad. Again, you can just look at how you can do it on the desktop. And I'm just trying to find something that I think is really good. And I'll just look around, and I'm trying not to make this too complicated, so I'm trying to find a spot that might not be too hard to work with in this situation. And I think maybe something like this might work for me. So what I can do at that point, the 6th icon on the left, I think could take a screenshot, and I'm clicking it, and I'm going to save to files. So now I'm going to go to Affinity Photo, a new document from Cloud, I believe. We'll give that a try. So this is the photo I'm going to be working with right now, and I need to crop it just because I want to get rid of the things that are right here on the side here, and maybe some icons on the bottom here, because they'll just confuse me, because I get confused very easily. And I'll just go about there. And we're not copying this exactly. I'm going to hit apply. And we're not copying this exactly. What we're doing, we're going to try. So I'm going to go here and lock that layer. And that's where we're at right now. So here's the building. Now the first thing I'll do is I'm going to grab my pen tool. I'm just going to start drawing on this photo. And I'm going to just go click, 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 click. I'm just kind of getting the outline. It's not even going to be perfect. And thanks to the fact that Affinity has vector drawing, and I can make my width a little bigger just so I could see it. I'm sliding here for the width. Affinity has vector drawing, so you can get in there and go, instead of there, you can go to the node tool, and you can get real close to where you want to be. And we'll play with these later, because again, I may not make this exactly the same as the buildings are right now, but I can leave them pretty good, pretty much like that. And I'm following their angles too. So maybe this one, I'll go to colors, and I'll maybe give it a light gray. We will select the move tool, select nothing, and now we're going to go back to the pen tool and do the layers on top. So let's start with this one right here. I'll get real close. I'm just going to basically do from here to here, and I can go back here because it'll go underneath, and I will give that a different color. We'll figure the colors later. And then I'm going to take that layer and move it below the other one. And I'm going to repeat that again, but what I could actually do is I can press down and say duplicate, or you can do edit, copy, edit, paste on the desktop, or Control or Command J. And then I'm going to take that one with the move tool and move it up, and right here. And since that's also underneath, all I need to do now is go to the node tool, and I can do something to this effect. And it's underneath, so you can't see underneath, so it doesn't matter once again. And then we select nothing again, and let's go to the top piece here. And the top piece I will do again. I will have nothing selected. Then I'll go to the pen tool, and we'll start up here because this was going to be this will be blocking it, so I'll start right around here and it can go underneath that. So I'm just going to go from here. Actually, it's going to go all the way to here, then here, and then this could be covering it up. And I can give that a color, but for now I'll give it the same color as this for now. Let's do that, but for now I just need to go back to the layer because I need to see the one under it. So I'm going to lower the opacity like that so that we can see the next one up. And now we go to Move Tool again, select nothing, go back to the Pen Tool, and let's do this box right here. This one, oh, my opacity has to go back up. So let's take a look at what we've got here. That's the main building. We can make the lines thinner or thicker, that's up to us, but what I'll do is I'm going to group this building together. I'm going to select nothing. Now on the desktop you select the bottom, hold shift and then the top, but on the iPad you select the bottom and then you click two fingers on the top one, which selects that then all of them, and then I hit group and it's all grouped. So here's your building, and I can go up here and go like that, and I'm going to call it building 1. And it doesn't get it perfect, but it's close enough for me. So now we have one building, and we also would like to do, we're going to do all different shadings on the sides and the front and all, but we also need to get some windows. And here's a neat trick to do some windows. What I'll do right now is on the shape tool, and I'm going to start, and I'll hold down my finger, and you can hold down shift, and what I'll do is I am going to switch the colors. We want this box to be fairly small. So what you'll do now is you'll on the desktop you'll do Control or Command J, and you'll keep repeating that. But on the iPad you have to click the menu on top, and then you go duplicate, and then slide it over, and then you do again every time you go up and hit duplicate. Make sure you don't do anything else. You're just going to keep hitting duplicate over and over again, and go as far as you can. And now I'll go back to here, and I'm going to select the bottom one, and I'm going to use two fingers to select the top. You would use shift on the desktop, and I will group it. So now that I have it grouped, I can duplicate it again and maybe move it over like that. And now we can group those two. Now I swipe my finger. I swipe to the right, swipe again. You can just select them with holding shift or control with your desktop. And now I group that again. So now I have a bunch of squares, and I'm going to now move them up here. And I'm going to duplicate again. I'm going to move them down. So now that I have all of that, I'm grouping those all together also. So I'm going to pick the bottom one, and you would hold shift on the desktop, but I'm clicking two fingers on the top one, and you would do Command or Control G on the desktop here. I'm just hitting that icon, and I'm grouping them. And now I'm going to go up here and say Rasterize. So now that saves my processor a lot of ache. Now it's just one big picture, just like that. I just need to duplicate that one more time. I'm holding down and pressing duplicate. I'm going to hide this one. In fact, I'm going to call this one Windows, just so we know ahead of time, so I can always go back to it and click OK. And now I hid that one, and it's called Windows. So now I'm going to go to the top one, And let's get the top one into place. Think about what we want to do. And we can make them shorter. We can make them narrow windows like that. We can make them long windows, and we can get rid of some of them easily. But let's just go with this. And let's kind of try and get this to fit in. So I'm going to get really close here. And I'm going to now go to Live Filters. Add Live Filter. And I'm going to go down here. There we go, Perspective. And I'm going to try and match this up. Like, look at the side of the building right here. I'm going to come down here. I'll leave a little on the edges. And then I need to go this way. And I'm going to bring this one down. And bring this one down. And I'm making it more of a comic book background. I think I'm going to try for. So again, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but what I'm trying to do is see this line right here and this going up here. I'm trying to get this to kind of match up. Actually, we should go up to here. See if we can match it up with that line right there on top. But I'm not liking the way it's looking, so we got to keep our angles really in place. So maybe more like that. See, because if you could follow, if you look up here, you can follow that line and kind of try and get close to what that line is and kind of give it that kind of a perspective. And so we'll see if this is going to work. Let's see if we can go like that and maybe a little bit like that. Now, of course, it doesn't look right. We really want it to be inside of the building. So this is that's my layer right there. First, I am going to rasterize it because that's the position I already want. So it's rasterized now. And then I'm going to take that and put it inside the building. So I drag that down and go to the building and go across. And now it's inside the building. We can always mask out a couple of windows if we want to. On the windows, let's add a mask. I forgot how to add a mask. There we go. Up, mask layer. So let's get a round brush. That's a hard brush. And now try painting. And I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller. You can see the size right there. And I'm just going to paint that out of the way and paint that one out of the way. And I might even take this one out and these two. Something like that. That's not bad. And again, we can fix this. We can do all kinds of different things, but we can add it back in if we want to, or we can cut it shorter. But let's say that that's the way it's going to look. And so there's like one of my buildings. And again, now I can do shading on that building. I think right now I'm going to go, I think I'll go from blue to dark. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to go to gradient fill tool. I'm just going to go like that. And then maybe on the top, I'm going to pick some kind of a blue. And on the bottom, let's go grab the bottom one. Instead of black, I think I might want to go a little bit, maybe in the blue family, but in almost like a really dark blue like that. And that looks pretty good. Let's go to the roof now. Let's see, this is one of the roof pieces. Let's do the side piece. We're going to go to the grays. And I want it to be more of a darker gray right there. And then on this one, we can also do one of these gradients. So let's say like that. And I think I'm going to hit reverse on that. Oops. Let's do this side more. And like that. All right, so that's where we're at. And we can do all kinds of different shading. Once again, we can tint it blue, but I'm going to tint later on top of this. So I'm going to leave it like that for now. And because I really don't want this to go really, really long, I'm going to change this up just slightly. So I'm going to take everything I've done right now, except for the extra windows on top. I'm going to do that and two down. And I'm going to select them all, and I'm going to duplicate it. So I'm going to press down and go duplicate, and then I'm going to take the one underneath and bring it up. So here we now have two buildings. So just like that. Now let's go on to the next building, and then we're going to do some shading. I'm going to try and do this very quickly, and I might speed up some of this because this is taking way too long. So now we have a couple of buildings here, and let's say now we wanted to give a really different kind of a background. So I'm going to add a new fill layer, and it's black, but I'm going to shade it, of course, and we'll just go like something like that. And maybe this one we do a reddish color or an orangey. Let's try that. And then this one I'm going to go maybe a teal. Let's bring that up. So you can see that you can give it different kind of backgrounds. And think about like if you were doing a comic book or a cartoon, stuff that you can do on top of this. I'm also going to do a fill on top of this fill. So let's go to this, and now instead of on the bottom, I might even duplicate that one. Let's take that and duplicate it and move that one all the way to the top, which you can't see it now. And I'm just testing this right now. I'm not sure what's going to work. But you see how it gives it some, adds a little bit to the coloring in it, which is kind of nice. Whoops. That's kind of interesting too. You can get like different moods when you do this. And so once again, ooh, that looks interesting. Look at that darkness. That looks like a nighttime. That's hue. It gives it a nighttime. Saturation brightens it up. So if you were doing like say a comic book or something, you could start with a Google Maps to help you out. And as you can see, I didn't follow everything. You just do what you feel like you want to do. And I kind of think I want to do the multiply. I like the multiply. So that's what I'm going to use. And that gives me a nice effect. And I could do some other things on it. I can, oh, like for example, windows. Maybe you don't want all the windows to be dark. Maybe it's nighttime, it's sundown, work is over, but maybe a couple of these windows need to be open. So let's see which one we could. Let's start with that one. So in there, if you go to your Windows section, and we got to find that. So with the windows, make sure you select the windows, and then go to your selection tool and make it wide, and then you can use the smart selection tool and click, maybe say here, oops, just click, I'm going too much, there we go, and maybe there's another one here, and say something down here, and maybe up there. Let's go back to my pixel. Now I'm going to just touch it and say copy, and then touch it again, and say paste. I'm going to take that one, I'm going to go to effects, and the color overlay, and I'm going to change the color to some kind of a yellow or amber, depending on night. Now, you see that the color doesn't look right, and here's why. If you look at my layers, this one is underneath that fill on top. So I think I need to bring this all the way on top of the overlay. So now, I don't even need to, by the way, I don't need to keep it selected. So now when I go to the effects and color, I can change the color to anything I want. So maybe we want it like a little bit of an amber, and that looks pretty good to me. So let's go see the difference. So now we have some lights on, and you could do different colors. You could use different ones with different colors. And then you may want to, I don't know, put somebody in the middle, which I don't have one offhand. I can look really quick. I don't know, cartoon character. Okay, here, let's do this. Again, this might look really silly, folks, and I don't care. So let's take this person and let's shrink her down. First, I'm going to shrink it all the way down like this, and then I'm going to rasterize her so I can work with her. So what I'll do here now is I'll go to the selection tool and I will select her. Let's make this bigger. And let's see how much we can get here. I'm doing this very quickly, folks, because this tutorial is going on way too long. So I'm not even using the bottom, so that doesn't really matter. Let's get all this in. And I think we got everything that we need. Yeah, so here we go, and I'm going to say refine, and then I'll put new layer with mask, and then apply. So there we go. There's the person right now. And now we could have just, this person, this cartoon is in the city. Maybe it's a gigantic, this is a gigantic somebody in the middle of the city. Or maybe they're standing on a building looking down. I don't know. There could be a building down in this section where the other building was. I should put her under the overlay. So she's part of the coloration in here. And you could see, even on the overlay, I might just go, because she's there now, I might change, let's go back to, I might change this and bring a little more orange down on her section, kind of like this. So that she has more, she or he has more color. I should know, I guess, who this is, but I don't. So, and give it a platform. So what we can do now is take that building and move it, duplicate it, and move that one down so that she has something to stand on. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's even stretch that out a little bit. And we'll go like that, and maybe a little smaller. So there you go. So that's the end result. And again, I did not do a great job. I did it very quickly, but you get the idea. You can do so many different things. You can add cloud overlays in the background. You can do all kinds of buildings. You can do different shadings. So I hope you found this tutorial useful. And if you did, please click like and subscribe and have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye.